What's up, everybody? I'm Freddy, your found footage fiend. Hope you're all having a great day, great week, and just want to send nothing but positive vibes and energy out there. And really quick, if you haven't already, please head over to foundfootagecritic.com. It's a really awesome website for your latest news, information, and trailers. It's a huge database for just found footage movies. There's also a streaming service called povhorror.com. It's available on like Roku, Chromecast, all those things. So definitely worth checking out. So we are looking at Matt Dixon's 2020 The Haunting of Grady Farm, which is like a supernatural mockumentary found footage movie with a little bit of folklore in it, which is actually really cool. Distributed by High Octane Pictures. I believe, I looked it up, he's done some short films, but I believe this is Matt Dixon's first feature film. And I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, I'm very bad with names. If you haven't seen any of my reviews, I'm terribly sorry for... I'm just giving everybody a heads up when I have to go through the characters. I'm very bad with names. So in today's movie, we are following Emily Wolf, the host of Haunted America. It's one of those type of reality shows where they go investigate different locations. She's asked a bunch of friends to come along and basically help her out, free labor. And they go to rural Florida. I'm not exactly sure where, but their location is the Grady Farm. But of course, when one of the friends disrespects the land, something sinister holds them accountable. Okay, so really quick, this movie is not bad. There are things in it that I didn't like, and I will go into that. I'm just being honest. But overall, I did enjoy this. For me, it's a kind of a slow burn up until like the last maybe 30 to 20, like around 30 minutes or so. It really kicks it into gear, and it definitely has some creepy moments overall. Especially there's like one scene I'll go into a little later, and I'm not gonna do, this is no spoilers, but there's definitely one scene that still it still sits with me. I'm like, fuck, that was good, that was effective, that was creepy. But yes, it's overall definitely a cool movie. All right, so we have quite a few people in this movie. There's about like 6 of the main cast, plus I'm going to include the person they're interviewing mainly throughout the movie, because this movie jumps back and forth, like I said, between mockumentary and found footage. So we have Emily, which is like the main person in charge of the entire group. She is played by Malia Miglino. Again, sorry if I butcher anybody's name. I'm just very bad with names. We have Ryan, who plays her boyfriend in the movie. He is played by Ben Kaplan. He's also like the cameraman, the one filming everything, the tech guy. We have Andy. Shout out to him really quick because he was probably my favorite character. Played by Shane Hartline. Again, sorry if I butcher your name. We also have Charlie. Oh, Charlie. He is the friend that lives out in Florida that's basically driving them to the location. He's the one with the car. Also, like the asshole friend of the group. We have Samantha, who is played by Amanda Sadia. She is the girlfriend of Andy. And we have Ashley, who is played by Allie Roberts. She is the new girlfriend of Charlie. Then we have the person they're interviewing in the mockumentary form of this movie. Her name is Sharon, but she's played by Lauren O'Quinn. She's actually, I looked her up, she's like probably the only one that's been in some prominent stuff. Let's just get into this really quick. Most of these characters I did not really care for. Not a lot was fleshed out, but there are 2 that stand out. First, I want to go with the positive. Andy. He was my favorite part of the movie. He didn't have like a whole bunch of screen time, I guess, because it's mostly focused on Emily, but he was the one to show like the most emotion. He showed a lot of compassion, a lot of love for his girlfriend. I don't know if this is a spoiler now. He wanted to propose to her at some point. I thought that was very awesome. It was a very great setting to do something like that. I had a lot of admiration for that. There's also a part at the end where he's angry. And I'm not going to get into any like spoilers, like I said, but he's just absolutely livid and also confused. And it's just, I don't know, it shows really well. I think he was probably the best like performance in this entire movie. We also have the other side of the coin, which would be Charlie, played by Jeremiah Byrne. Oh man, I don't know if you're just that good at playing an asshole, dude, but damn, you were just so... How about this? How about I put it like this? You were very fun to hate. Like, you were just, I don't know, every time you were on, you were just kind of a dick. Except for the end where like shit got serious. But there's a part at the beginning. There's a part at the beginning when they're on the road trip and they're on a group text except for Charlie, and he totally just calls them all out on it, and it's just so good. And right after that, though, he follows up with, by the way, if anybody needs to pee, he busts out like this Gatorade bottle that just obviously has like this clear, like which is supposed to be piss, and he's like, what? Like, what the fuck? Everybody has a pee bottle, and I just. So, like I said, it's like a love-hate relationship with this guy because he is a kind of a dick throughout the movie. Like, right, his first appearance, you get that impression of him. He says some very fucked up jokes, like right off the bat when you first meet him. And I don't know. But these two people, I guess, were just like the best part of the movie for me, character-wise. So, I want to say really quick, like, this concept really isn't original. Like, we've seen some of these found footage movies where it's a type of reality show going to a location. I mean, the most notable one, I would say, is Grave Encounters. You know, of course. There's also, like, you know, Gonjiam, Haunted Asylum. So, it's not necessarily original, but I really enjoyed the type of, like, mythology and folklore they put into it. Because they dive into this, like, Irish and Scottish type of folklore called the Slua. The Slua. Which I had to look up. And they're, like, these, like, restless spirits of the dead. They like fly around supposedly in flocks, and they're known to be like generally evil and sinister. And they're also like kind of considered like demonic fairies. So like the fact that I had to look this stuff up, like I remember when I first watched this movie, my first viewing is always just watch the movie, then my second viewing is take my notes. But my first viewing, I had to pause. I'm like, okay, is this real what they're talking about? This sounds kind of cool. So I had to look it up, and yeah, this is legit like folklore mythology out there. And I just thought that was fucking awesome, dude. So I tip my hat to you on that. But with that being said, like I said, I'm not gonna go into spoilers too much, but there were some things that I did not like, and that just still sit with me. Like I said, it's not a bad film. I know if you go in, and it's short. It's a very brisk movie. It's like an hour and like 6-7 minutes. Like, it's not bad, dude. You got that much time to kill. Just watch it, and I'm sure you're gonna be like, oh, that wasn't bad. Yeah, that was good. But like I said, there were just a few things that didn't sit well with me. About the second half of the movie, the camera just. Now I'm assuming it's due to some supernatural force out there, but I don't like that. The camera started glitching out, like the screen started kind of flickering. As well as there's like, so during the road trip, there's music. It's not directly in the movie because it's through the radio, I guess, if you get what I'm saying. But I don't know. I didn't like that. But there's also like background sound. Like when something creepy is about to happen, if you've seen these type of movies where something like scary is about to happen, you hear like a low buzz or like an ominous, and it gets kind of dramatic. That happens throughout like the second half of the movie and a lot of it. So that was very like, I don't know, that just took me out. You know, I don't like that type of thing. I'd rather just have just pure raw footage. No need for this ominous type of thing. There's a part where they find an abandoned car and they're looking at it and they're filming it, you know, like, oh, look at that car. There's music, the background like humming starts to play, and all of a sudden there's like spliced images of you. They're looking at the car, and then all of a sudden there's like a dead body or something in it, and then it splices back to just like regular reality. And there's like 2 or 3 different occasions of this where this happens. There's another part where one of the friends is filming, and blah, it kind of just shows a quick image of somebody dead, and then it just goes back into reality. Like that's very non-immersive. I don't know the word, but it just takes me out of it personally, and that's just one thing I don't like. As well as there's like security camera angles, and so they're going to this abandoned farm, and the farm is supposed to be abandoned, but there's like security cameras up in like different spots, and it just doesn't make sense because how would that footage get like edited into the main movie? You get what, if you kind of understand, if you watch found footage and you understand what I'm kind of trying to say, because it doesn't feel like why is there security cameras around this like random farm that's abandoned? And I mean, it's not necessarily abandoned because there's like somebody living in there at one point, but he doesn't even seem like the house looks like shit. So why would this dude have like these high-tech cameras? I don't know. It just didn't make sense to me. But they're, like I said, those are just a few things. I did enjoy this movie, and I think for me, the biggest like I took out of it was the folklore, like I talked about earlier. The whole Sluaw thing was very cool, very interesting to look up. Like the fact that this movie made me want to look up information, I just thought that was fucking awesome. The mockumentary side of it as well was very good. I enjoyed that because you get a lot of information on the Grady farm, who they were, like this late what's her name, Sharon in the movie. She enjoys talking about this subject. She enjoys going over it. It's funny because at the very beginning of the movie, they are talking to her, and she's like, have you been out there yet? And they're like, no, we're gonna get some friends. And she's like, writing something down, just like, like, yeah, we're gonna go out there and get some friends. We're gonna camp. And she's just like, what? You're gonna what? And she's like, yeah, we're just gonna camp out there. So I just thought that was cool because she knows there's like a lot of history of a lot of people like go to this place and just go missing. Apparently, there's also like they have a stereotype of like that type of that old type of like the harbinger of death, as they refer to in the Cabin of Woods stereotype, where like the old person's like, you're all doomed. It's the gas station clerk, and he's basically, as soon as he finds out what they're doing, he's like, well, don't go there, like, what, stay away, you don't want to go there. So I thought that was really cool stereotype to kind of throw in there. Also, the movie has some, like I said, later on when the movie does pick up, it does have like some very creepy and haunting moments. So there's one scene that will stick out with me, and I just thought it was a very effective, very cool thing to do. I'm gonna try to be vague as possible because I don't want to spoil it, but essentially, one of the friends gets lost out there, and he's walking around in this farm. It's abandoned. There's a bunch of trash everywhere. He turns his camera, and he sees like a dead body. Somebody that was supposed to be like a dead body just sitting on like a dining table with like plates set up right. So he freaks out, of course, naturally, and he starts booking it. But as soon as he starts running out, he trips over, and the camera like falls, and you just see that same dead body that was on the dining table is like one that tripped him over, and it's just like laying there like, what? But it obviously like tripped him over, so I just thought that was fucking awesome. I don't know. It was so exciting for me to see something like that put into there because I thought that was very creative. And really quick, there's a sex scene, so I'll just throw that out there. No nudity, but there's a sex scene. So overall, this is just a very short but effective film for me. It's got some great moments at the end, very haunting moments to me, and some really good folklore. I felt like it was a lot put into it, so I believe you'd have a good time watching it for sure. So my ratings will be for reason for filming, believable cinematography, we have found footage purity, we have acting, we have realism / immersion, and we have plot. So really quick, I'll try to just go through all of these one by one. So reason for filming, I'm going to give this an 8.5. It's a TV show. It obviously needs to have a lot of B-roll, but in the very beginning opening scene, they also established a little extra why they're going to be filming. One of the friends, Andy, calls up Ryan, and he's like, hey, I'm thinking about proposing. Would you mind just, rolling a little extra footage just in case? So I thought it was very well set up. So, believable cinematography, I'm going to just give that a 7.5 because there were moments that the camera did feel like it was set up perfectly, but when they're running, this is what I was looking for basically. When they're running, if it's like they're running and you can see everything, no. They're running and everything's just kind of off, you can't see what's going on. Found footage purity is where it probably has the lowest for me. I'm going to give this a 6.5. There's the camera angles that just don't make sense. There's the background noise, the ominous like humming, buzzing, stuff like that. There's the splicing of images. Even though it's incidental, like the radio music, it's there. I don't know. It just took me out of that, and I don't know. Acting wasn't bad. I'm gonna give acting a 7. It just, like I said, it wasn't bad at all. None of the actors were necessarily bad, but it didn't feel genuine, if that makes sense. It did feel like there was scripts and they were trying to hit plot points to just continue forward. So for me, I'm just giving it a 7. Realism and immersion, I was close to giving it almost the same rating as the found footage purity rating, but I'm gonna give this a 7 because though there was glitchy screens, I think it just felt very effective still. For the last criteria, we have plot. Like I said, it's not original. We've seen stuff like this before, but I did enjoy the folklore that they put into it. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a 7.5. Rounding everything up to a 7.3 out of 10. I recommend this regardless of the flaws that I said it has, in my opinion. They might not even be flaws to you. You might enjoy them. And that's, that's awesome. This is for everybody. So this is just my opinion. With that being said, I'm going to just cut it here. I'm going to quit rambling. I hope you all have a great day. Again, foundfootagecritic.com and povhorror.com. Happy spookies.